Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We are here for another one of your questions about work. And I feel like there are some topics that are just perennials. Maybe because everybody has something that they really care about. And so often that expresses through a side hustle. And so, for those of you who are here for the first time, I'm Roy. I'm a startup investor in the future of work. I'm here with Mario Armstrong, who is an entrepreneur himself. Unlike me, he's fortunate enough to get to work with his wife. He's got a show called Never Settle. You can find him at Mario Armstrong on Twitter, Instagram, etc. And so, Mario, the question we have for today, and thank you for being
Yeah.
here, is how
Thank
can
you.
I turn my side hustle into a full-time job?
The first step to that would be stop thinking that your parents and your best friends are your customers. Like right out of the gate, you need better validation. You need validity of the idea. Look, we all have tons of ideas. The issue really becomes, is this an idea for right now? Is this really a small project? Or could this really be a sustainable business? So I think like avoiding cognitive bias, meaning don't just seek people that are going to tell you yes or that sounds like a great idea. Really think through your concept, really show people that if you don't have a product already built,
What's a
what
good
it
way to test
is.
that? Because like we all have this, I see this with founders all the time when we invest.
Yeah,
Many founders, like if you could have a box that if you open the box in 1 second would tell you if your idea was a bad idea, the good founders are like, oh, where can I buy that box? I need that because I want to disprove myself. The bad ones don't want to know. They don't want to
they
be
don't
told.
want to know.
And so, what's a good way to figure that out? Because we're all so biased by our own ideas, we fall in love with them. They're our creations.
You have to act. This is a tough question to answer because it isn't a silver bullet to this. The
Right.
only way to identify this is to actually look. Let me back up. I was going to say
Yeah.
put something out there. One step you could take before you put something out there, which we actually did do, is to actually create an unofficial board of advisors. So take your
Mm.
side hustle like a real business and actually think about real stakeholders like your family could be stockholders or your spouse or your partners. You're leaving your income, you have stockholders that you have to be beholden to. So if you think about your side hustle like a real business, that helps change your framework, and that helped us really put together a team of about 5 people who were already in media at varying levels, and we were asking them about our ideas. The problem or the challenge with that is you want to make sure that they aren't you aren't preaching to the choir, that you're getting real truthful feedback. But the most important thing is if they haven't really traveled the path you're traveling, be very cautious about the
I
advice
love
that
that.
you're getting from them.
I love that. I mean, the thing I say about that is starting something new. You're an entrepreneur, starting something new. We tend to think of like, oh, your vocation is you're a TV producer or you're a business person or whatever it is, and you happen to be starting something new. And so
Yeah.
anybody who's a TV producer could help you with your TV thing. And it's not like that. Starting something new is its own occupation with its own trade craft. And I always tell founders of like, we do venture backed companies. It's like, you want great investors, go get yourself the founder of a venture backed company because they know. I mean,
Right?
more likely to know than, certainly your uncle who's a lawyer who incorporated somebody's company once and therefore
That's right.
started
That's
that
right.
company.
I mean, look, if
Yeah.
someone says to me, "Hey, look, I got this idea for a show," I would say to you, "Okay, I did too. Had a full-time job, was pursuing that hustle. I couldn't afford a $300,000 studio in New York City to shoot the show I wanted to shoot. I wanted to shoot a talk show format. So many people don't have the money or the funds to be able to launch their idea. So then what do? What's your step? You
I
barter
love it.
your butt off. You
So
barter
tell us,
your butt
just
off.
give us your example on that though, because like, okay, so let's say you validated this thing. You're like, no, 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 this dog can hunt, but then you still have
Yeah,
all these obstacles to overcome. So
that's right.
what guidance do you give people on how they take those various steps forward?
the you have to identify the obstacles based off a priority because otherwise you'll drown in quicksand. So what is the next right move for you to make? That's the constant question to ask. What is the next right move? Not 5 moves away. So for us, we were like, we can't host a show if we don't have a studio. So I can't
Right.
even begin to get sponsorships. I can't get guests. I can't do anything if I don't have a place. So that was the next right move. And we called a technology company called Canary in New York City. It was like, hey, you got this beautiful lobby. What if we mention your product in the show in exchange of being able to use your lobby for free for our set? And they bought the idea, they bought right into it. I mean, we went to like 5 different companies before we found one that said yes, but they said yes to this barter idea. So now we had a place for free, Roy. We have a studio. Then we go right back. What's the next right move now?
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that it's that inventiveness of finding something that's right there that meets the need, shoehorning it in, finding
That's
a way
right.
to make it work. I mean, the story they always tell about Amazon is one of these places that has a culture of being very frugal, which I think is just an excuse to not pay people very well, but whatever. Um,
Mm,
but they do
nice
have that
insight.
culture, and that in the
Yeah.
beginning they just didn't have enough money, and so they used doors instead of desks and just attached
Oh,
legs to doors because it's
I did hear
cheaper.
this story.
And it's that kind of thing. So I love that.
Yep.
Any parting thoughts for folks before we wrap today?
I would just say, look, you're going to have a lot of things that you're going to be thinking about. You really need to prioritize your energy. So I really want you to manage your energy, not your time.
But
And what
what
I
do you
mean
mean by
by
that?
that,
Because everybody's like, I got hours in the day here and hours in the day there. But when you say manage your energy, like other than carrying crystals around, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about knowing when you are at your optimum. We all have peak cycles and we all have these droughts where we go up and down. If you can really identify when are you at your most alertness, your most attentiveness, when can you really handle complex problems the best? Maybe you're 2 a.m. For me, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. So you got to know your peak performance times and then manage your business and your side hustle based around where you can actually have the best energy
I
to
love
focus
that.
on the problems.
Knowing you sort of have these zones where you can do it and putting the right work in the right zone. For me, it's like I love
Yes.
to write, and the pandemic was very difficult for me because I used to write on planes. And it's like, well,
Oh,
there goes
wow.
that, maybe I need to go
Wow.
buy a
That was your
Wi-Fi
place to get
blackout
it
zone.
done. When you were there, that was your place. So how did you adopt? How did you pivot?
Honestly, this show was part of how I adapted because I've been trying to do it for forever. Thought I'd write it a little bit of time, and then one day, one of my teammates was just like, you should just do it with like a daily live video, and I was like, God, it's gonna be so janky and like I don't know, like just my phone. The first few episodes is
Right.
kind of humiliating before I got a camera
No, I
and all
saw it. You're
that.
like
Like,
walking around on your phone. I saw it.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't good. But now we have guests. Now we have a team helping out. So that was
Yeah.
part of it. Is trying to find a way to. I didn't solve the problem I thought I was solving, which was where should I write. I solved the problem of how can I get the same kind of self-expression and sharing what I'm learning in a mechanism that fits with the patterns of where we were at that moment in time.
Oh,
So
Roy,
sometimes,
you just made me unlock one other thing. I know you want to go, but I want to say
no,
this
please,
real
it's
quick
good.
because
It's
I don't want to
good.
forget it.
As long as we got the audience, we're good.
Okay, I'm fine. As you let me know when to cut off.
No, you good.
Attachment. What I just heard from Roy is the lack of attachment. He didn't get attached. He was so used to doing his process and his routine, but then when things changed, he still thought, he said, okay, how can I be open to still getting the information out there using different vehicles? So what that says is he wasn't so focused that had to be one way and one way only that he could not yet see other possibilities. And I find a lot of people when they move from side hustle to going to their full time, you're being told put the blinders on, complete focus.
Totally.
But what that does is it removes the ability to get inspiration or to see things and those blind spots that you can't, or better yet, find a path that you didn't even know existed and now you're creating one and you're still
I love that.
accomplishing the goal you wanted to achieve.
I love that. I mean, I think that one of the paradoxes of starting anything new is that you have to be focused because you can't get very much done. You don't have resources to try things, but you also have to be flexible. And people are like, well, how do I do both? And the answer is, I don't know. How does a movie director make a movie that's long enough to be interesting, but short enough so people don't walk out? You learn the craft and you got to integrate these things. Mario, I feel like we could go on many subjects.
Absolutely.
I would love to have you back again. That was a lot of fun. And folks, please follow him. If those of you are here for the first time, the reason we say this is not advice is that we're not telling you should do it this way, because precisely what we're trying to do is illustrate the principles that we've used, that Mario's used in his own journey. And then you got to make your own choices because, you can't make it work unless you figure it out for yourself. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mario. To be
Thank you all.
continued.